Good afternoon. My name is Vivienne Williams. I come from Cape Town in South Africa. This afternoon I will be presenting a session to a group of youth athletes ages 11 to 18. They're a mixed gender and very much a mixed ability. The main focus of today's session is body position on the run. And together with body position, if we get that correct, we'll get foot landing and contact correct as well. So we will be touching on that as well. I'm doing a swim run session. You may well ask, why swim run? Xterra South Africa is an A race of 3 or 4 of these athletes who are attending this afternoon. And the run out of the swim to the bike is very long at Xterra South Africa. I find that this is often overlooked by triathletes and not trained because they discount the importance of this run between the swim and the bike portion. But valuable seconds can be gained, and this is what we're trying to do, to adapt their bodies to know how to run with a good body position straight out of the swim.
I'm standing on the grass field that we're going to be using, and I've set it up with cones demarcating where we're going to be doing the running drills and the little running session that I've arranged for them. Pretty clearly marked. The safety factor, it's a beautiful flat grass field, nowhere near the traffic, it's traffic-free zone, so it's a very safe environment. Walking down the path that forms part of the run warm-up route, it's a very safe running route. There partly on grass, partly paving, and also a bit of gravel. But it's cool. We have stairs that go into the pool, which become a hazard when it comes to wanting to do run swim sessions. So I always use this stair area as a neutral zone where they're not allowed to race. Because they also go up, exit the pool along the steps, and you can see where the cones are marked for their run out of their swim. And then safety of the pool, we've measured today's water temperature at 22 degrees. It's nice and warm, it's a hot summer's day. We've got sunblock here and water for the kids. We do have a lifebuoy at the pool, and we have first aid in the ladies' change room. We're very fortunate to also have the school hostel on the property, where the hostel moms are always willing to help us if we have problems with emergencies. And we also have the estate manager who lives on the property. So in case of emergencies, we know who to call. Girls, remember you need to sign the register, please. Attendance register. Thank you. Before we start our session. That I don't want to know about, you go straight to Renee. Right, Sam, come stand next to me, please. Alright, so we're going to introduce ourselves to each other because there are a number of newbies here today. All I want you to do, we're going to go in anti-clockwise direction, starting with Coach Renee. Name, we don't have to give your age, everyone else. Name, age, school, and something funny that we don't know about. Alright, but while we do that, I want you to come a little closer, please. And we're going to do the usual standing on one leg. I want heel to butt. I want you to think tight core. Relax your arms. Relax your arms a little bit. Oops. And keeping your hips nice and level. Alright, starting with Renee. Very quickly.
Hi girls, I'm Renee. I'm thrilled to be here today.
So I've speeded up many portions of this video, and I've also had to voice over because the wind played absolute havoc. And as we got later into the session, the wind was really crazy wild. So you'll notice a lot is spoken over.
Alright, so we know who we are. It looks like we've got 3 hunters here today, all from different schools. Okay, we're going to warm up with a little jog around campus. I've got Kaylin who's going to lead you. She knows the route. It's a very safe 1K loop. You're going slowly. Kaylin's in front. The 2 boys who are the fastest are at the back. They may not overtake anybody else. Okay, it is a slow jog. Nice warm up. And before we go, we're going to do just some double jumping. I want you to land on your midfoot, please. And I want loose ankles and loose knees. Okay, everything just loose. Not high. Right, while you're thinking about the part of your foot that you're landing on, I want you to see that your heels are also touching the ground. So your midfoot touches first, heel touches, and then with your toe you're pushing off. Lovely, let's go right foot only. Nice and floppy. Keeping your hips level. And left foot. Hips level. Alright, and double feet. Lovely. And relax. Alright, we're going to go for a run. I'm coming with you to see that no one runs too fast. Okay, leading. Off you go. Off you go. On right, please.
So I got them to line up in twos and to practice this foot drill, walking and then running. A number of them managed to get that. I think they all understood that forefoot touches the ground first and that the heel actually drops onto the ground before taking off, using the toes, leaving the ground latest. We then went up to the grass field. I've also speeded up this video because it took a while. Our first drill was the leg swings, which activates the glute muscles and also opens up the hip flexor. And I do this before every run, and I get my juniors to do this leg swing, holding the fence, using the inside leg, concentrating on keeping your hips facing forwards, shoulders relaxed. We then walked across to the cones. They each took a cone and lined up for run drills. We started with the hamstring stretch, which I use a lot. It's great for stretching the hamstring and also the entire rear chain right through to the foot. So some people call it roll out the carpet. We like to call it chew the chicken. It actually hurts. It stretches the neural chain, as I said, but also the lining of the muscles, the fascia. We then went on to lunges, which I do get my athletes to do a lot of. We did the forward lunge and then body twist to the front, towards the front leg. This again activates glutes, medius and maximus, opens up the hip flexor, uses the quads, the hamstrings, and pretty much a full body core strengthening exercise. This little girl improved a lot during the afternoon with her stability. And I've just got them to jog back. We then did another lunge, which was the backward lunge with a stretch up, again stretching out hip flexor, which is so vital, and using glutes, quads, hamstrings. I was very impressed with their stability during this exercise, and they seemed to be improving and really concentrating on what I was asking them to do. And it was great having an assistant coach here who could correct those who weren't getting it right initially. We then gathered together and I asked them what and where they'd felt the exercise. Some felt it in their calf. Well, it's not particularly a calf exercise, but if there's stiffness there, I guess that's where you're going to feel it as well. Kaylin then came to demonstrate. We started with an A-skip. The A-skip's used for foot contact and landing. This action is propelled by the hip flexors and the quadriceps. So it's using a high knee skip and a double hop on the foot. Kaylin's very good at these A skips. We then got her to do the B skip, which also uses the quadriceps to extend the leg from a high knee position. And then the hamstrings are used to drive the leg to the ground. So I asked Samuel, one of the older boys, also to demonstrate there. They all seem to get it pretty well. And I like this A and B skip. It's not easy, and it's great for coordination.
Full foot contact. We're going to take our shoes off now and socks, and we're going to do a little bit barefoot, okay? So you get more of a feel for your feet. All right? So take your shoes off, please, and then I want you lining up on the blue line over here, and we're going to do some body position exercise.
The wind was really playing havoc by now, which is why I'm voicing over this portion as well. We were doing a body position talk here, asking them to run tall. We started off with just swaying, standing up tall, looking forwards, keeping our eyes forward, and just swaying. In fact, the wind was kind of blowing them over quite badly there. We then went on to leaning forwards and allowing themselves to just fall onto one small step. And we repeated that with right leg and left leg, and of course the video is speeded up here. We then progressed from just falling forwards to doing some easy jogging, thinking about our forward body position. Remembering that the forward position is only 4 degrees off vertical, so it's minimal, but it is a forward lean. I found myself demonstrating a bit too much here. I think the girls and guys did seem to get the idea of what I was trying to teach them. They certainly looked a bit better. I now asked them to try and get their high knee lift together with a forward body motion, as we were going to do a session, just a little run set, varying and changing speeds. We then progressed from the running forward lean to having some fun with tires. We asked the children to someone to demonstrate, and they wouldn't, so Coach Rennie and I had to demonstrate the drill. So you have in 2 pairs, you have someone holding the old bicycle tires around your hips and resisting and helping you lean forward without letting you go. Then I wanted them high knees jogging on the spot, and then running as hard as they could, just for 10 meters, just to get the idea of running hard with that forward lean. They were a bit resistant to try, but they ended up having a great deal of fun. In fact, Samuel and David here in the picture, Samuel got it totally wrong the first run through. although I've speeded up the video, he leaned forward, which we pointed out to those who were observing because we only had 3 double tires. He gets a totally run. He bends forward at the waist, which was great to point out to the athletes. So it's to keep a straight body in line, head, shoulders, hips, and ankles, leaning hard on the spot, high knees, and there you see Samuel leaning forward. So they all got a turn to try this, and I asked them if they'd seen the error from Samuel, and some of them had seen that error, which was quite interesting. You may well ask why they are running barefoot. I like to do a bit of barefoot drills and exercises, adults and children alike. It helps to strengthen the feet and also increases ankle flexibility, which is vital for good running form. It improves foot movement and the pattern that the feet take, and also often stabilize unstable knee and hip joints. So I'm really keen on barefoot drills and exercises, but certainly not barefoot running. I know that we need support from our shoes. Our feet are very complex and we need to look after them. There are actually 26 bones in the feet, and we need them for the rest of our lives, actually. As athletes, we need to look after them, we need to protect them, and we need to keep them strong. And this barefoot running, particularly on grass, is very good for strengthening them, together with other exercises, lifting big toes and scrunching towels. So I get them to do these sort of drills with no shoes on. I think I have referred to the bicycle tubes that I'm using there as tires. They are in fact old punctured bicycle tubes that we are using for this exercise, not tires.
Running arms, and let's go. Let's go. Hold honeys. Nicely.
You got this, almost there.
Honeys, okay. Heel to butt. We're going to then run it. We're going to run down around that orange cone. The yellow and green cones are showing you your little round route, and I want you to come back. I want you to run fast. It's not a sprint, but I'm looking for your body position. Okay, not there, and it's not a hectic lean. Head, of course, looking forwards. Eyes looking forwards. I want to see that nice, just off vertical body.
I got the athletes to divide themselves into 2 groups, and this was more of a progressive drill where I wanted them to march with a high knee and heel to butt, and then turn that march into a jog slowly. Then I wanted them to go around the cones which had been marked out and to run back towards me so that I could see their body position. They did this 5 times. They were pretty exhausted afterwards. You'll notice that the marching is great for coordination as well. Some of them got right foot, right leg together, right hand, right leg together, which I pointed out to them as well, that it's left arm, right leg at the same time. We then had a discussion about how they felt on the run. They were tired. They had been running barefoot as well, which was really good for getting a feel for forefoot landing. We then had a water break, and the athletes made their way to the pool, got into their costumes, those who weren't in tri-suits. I asked them to get cap and goggles and their shoes in hand, and then we chatted, and they then went to the baskets which were prepared in the shade and chose a basket and put their shoes into the basket. Renee and I then discussed what we were going to do with them, because I wanted them to do a warm-up before they got into the swimming pool. Again, it was incredibly windy, and I've speeded up the video, which then speeds up my voice, so I have had to voice over again. I got Renee to demonstrate tricep dips. there wasn't enough space there, so some were going to do pulleys while the others did tricep dips. I wanted them to have their fingers facing outwards, body close to the bench. Renee demonstrates 20 with body close to the bench, 2 feet, and then lifting right leg up doing 10 and left leg up doing 10. I also tried to demonstrate the pulleys, and we did more of that demonstration later on. So the boys were going to start on the pulleys, the girls were going to do their tricep dips, and this was our warm-up before we did a warm-up swim. I had to correct a few of the hand positions, also body position. The girls really said that their triceps hurt and they could feel it. I wanted them to actually try a second set, which they couldn't really manage. The triceps are an important muscle really for swimming. The boys went on and did their pulleys and then came back and took over from the girls where the girls went and did pulleys. So they all had a turn to do just 20 pulleys, and we helped them with their correct pulley position. So the boys needed more help than I thought they would. I'm trying to explain to them that, swimming uses multiple muscles in the arms, back, core and legs, which all work together to maintain forward movement. The freestyle swim, of course, engages the tricep muscles. It lengthens the tricep muscle when you're swimming with a bent elbow. So the pulley exercise that we did is vitally important for them to know that they're pulling backwards as opposed to pushing down on the water. Kaylin, who's trying to help there with demonstration, is a very good swimmer, and you'll see in the video now she does her pulleys. She does them very fast. She's strong in the water. She has a fast stroke rate. Obviously this is speeded up, but she was great to use for demonstration for the pulley. As part of their warm-up, the older athletes just did an 8-length 200-meter warm-up, and the younger girls just did a 4-length warm-up. We were then going to move into a little fun relay running, swimming portion of the afternoon. After their swim, I got them to get out of the pool, put them into teams, where I wanted them each to have one better swimmer and one weaker swimmer in a team. We were an uneven number, so the little girl doubled up with one of the bigger girls, and I got them to do just one length swim at a time, where I instructed them to swim easy for the first 2, and the third 25-meter swim was going to be a hard swim, and the fourth and last 25-meter swim where I wanted them to really kick hard so that they would feel fatigued in the legs when they got up. So all was explained. They were going to run around to the deep end, dive in from the deep end, swim to the shallow end, hop out, change over or tag their partner, and as I said, they really enjoy working in pairs here. I didn't look at swim stroke. It was more about adapting the body to be able to run out of the swim, and this seemed to be really beneficial.
From you girls, how you felt running and swimming. Talk to me. Did you feel that your legs were heavy when you started out on that little run? Did you feel, when I asked you to kick harder, that was harder because you've been running and swimming? You feel a bit dizzy getting out, so 9 hours and now you're going critical? So you feel a bit lightheaded maybe? Okay, and also we don't have the strength to get out of the pool. Hannah, how was that? You're new to this.
The running was hard.
Okay, was it?
Yes.
Because you like your swimming. Alright. Why I'm choosing to do this session today is because a number of you are racing Xterra South Africa, which has a very long run once you've done your swim in the dam. It's a long run up, and a lot of seconds can be gained adapt your body to learning how to run straight after a hard swim. So we're going to move into longer swim sets now with a longer run. The run will be easy, but I want you to learn and teach your muscles, the brain to tell your muscles and your body that you're now going to be running. And if we train that way, you can improve your run to your swim. So who of you are doing Xterra race as your A race? You're also racing, Hannah, well done. Okay, so it's vitally important to gain seconds on that run. You guys know, you've done it before. That run is a long way. With our dam in draft state, it's going to be an even further run. And you can gain vital seconds. The other reason also is so that you can get onto your bike ahead of others who might have swum faster than you because you're just ready to run. And as soon as you go onto a single track, you're going to be ahead of them and you're going to be keeping them behind you. So that is the goal of teaching ourselves to be able to run out of the swim. Alright, so we're going to do a long set today. We're doing some 200s and some 800s, 3 sets of that, and we'll get going. Younger girls are only swimming 100-meter sets and running a 600. I'll show you the route when we go out now. This is the route we're going to do a set. It's not there. But you guys are going to run. One runs all the way to the red and white pole. Are only running up until swim run set now. Group 1 and group 2, you girls know which group you're in. Let me explain what's going to happen. Group 1, 3 sets of 3 times 200 meter swim. Watching the clock, you're on your own time. 20 seconds rest between each 200. You're going 3 times 200, 20 seconds rest. Your third 200 of every set is a fast 200. You hop out the pool, you run around clockwise around the pool to the baskets, put your shoes on, out through the gate, neutral zone all the way to the second orange cone, which we just walked and seen, and easy 800 meter return. Area. Time yourself on the clock. You're taking 60 seconds rest before you're hopping in the pool. You do your second set of 3 times 200 meter swim. This time, only 15 seconds rest between your 200s. 3 sets like that for the third set. The only difference is 10 seconds on the third set. So you take 20 second rest, 15 second rest, 10 seconds rest between your 200 meter sets. Does that make sense? Any questions?
I had placed the swim run repeats on a whiteboard, and as we were being blown away, I tried to hide it in the corner of the wall and explain to the swimmers what we were going to do and how the session was going to run. There weren't many questions after I'd explained it all. A little one waited behind. She was doing really well for her age. She was just 11 years old. I wanted them to manage their own sets. So the clock was there, and I wanted them to be responsible and show me how committed they were to the set. And it proved to be incredible. They all really understood what they were going to do and entered into the run swim repeats with gusto. So I was really impressed. The athletes were all given different distances to swim according to their swim abilities. So some of them were swimming 100-meter repeats, some 150-meter repeats, and the better swimmers were all doing 200-meter repeats. And they were all managing their own times and leading times, and they were actually pretty impressive with their commitment to what they had to do. I also, when they were changing into their shoes, wanted them to show core control, and they were not allowed to sit down to put their shoes on. I wanted them to stand up and get their feet into their shoes as quickly as possible, as you would do in a biathlon event. Those two girls were tagging each other in a relay, as the one girl didn't want to swim and the other one was happy to just run. You can actually get this really well. My elbow, my elbow off, my stage, my assistant coach Rene had actually taken over the video because the guy who was helping us with the video had to go after an hour, and it was taking a bit longer than we thought. So she was marshalling up at the steps,
Nicely.
which was a neutral zone, and this is up there.
All the way to the baskets, all the way to the baskets. And good. Shoes off again. Well done. Good. No, back to the baskets. Good.
So they got to do the last set together. They were all doing slightly different distances still, but I wanted them to run together and do transition together and get to experience other people out on the race course. So they also got to run together and come back together, which was quite fun, finishing off together. They got on well as a group. They had fun. I was just dashing up there to watch them from the side because I hadn't had a moment to watch their body position while running, but kept on reminding them what they wish to concentrate and focus on while out on the run.
Top session. In total doing 6, 12, 18. It's a hard running. David, tell us about it. You're not good at swimming, okay? So you know what you need to work on. Okay. But at least now we know our brain is not teaching our muscles what to do. So there's neuromuscular connection, which is what this exercise is all about. Did any of you think about your position when you were running? Or do you just want to get the run done?
It's very hard to recover, but you have to do so.
Yeah, it's difficult when from your running.
And it's also important to, when you're finishing that last swim, because you only swim hard on race day, to be doing that last 200 harder than the previous two, so you get into that fatigued state where you now need to mentally concentrate and focus on your run. So, how did you come with your routines? Okay, so you also know how to do it. Well done, everybody. You had some nice transitions quickly in and out of your shoes. Much improved. Well done. Megan, how's your swimming? Okay, right? So that's why we need to train it, because it is difficult to get from horizontal position back to vertical position. You felt a bit dizzy? Okay, that's because when we're swimming, we get blood pooling where? In the upper part of your body, because that's what's working so hard. And when we're running, we need to get that blood flowing down to the legs. So that's why you sometimes feel a bit. Alright, thank you. I want you just to get dry, please. We need to do a little bit of stretching just to finish off our session. Thank you. Alright, after exercise, we need to do stretching of our muscles that we've used. What do we call it? What do we call it? Post exercise. So what do we like to do? Whereas before we have exercise, well done, stretching. When we do exercise, we do some forward movement of the muscle. Now we're just going to hold our muscle and stretch it for 20 to 30 seconds. So we're going to do our quad muscles, just holding it. Our hands go back. I want to heel to bottom, and I want your knees together. Stand up nice and tall, straight ahead of you, shoulders back, and the wind is blowing us over.
discussed static stretching post-exercise as opposed to dynamic stretching before exercise. I got them to stretch their quads to start with, controlled, and then their hamstrings, and then we did the hip flexor stretch.
That's good. Stretch here is good. Zara, sit back a little further with your hips. That's good. You feel more stretch there. And twist your body a little bit. That's lovely.
We then went on to do calf stretching, straight leg stretching the larger gastrocnemius muscle, and the rear leg being bent, which stretches the soleus muscle.
And stretching up nice and tall, please. Nice straight line. And shake it out. And once more up tall. And shake it out. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Bye then.